Hey guys, my name is Jennifer and I am Genevieve Designs. We are currently working on the Crafty Companion, the Crafty Workstation. This one right here. We're working on that with the Crafty Dividers on top. Let me show you what we got so far. The last video we made the top part. This is the Crafty Dividers. I will put a link up here and down below if you want to check that out. And then we also made all of these Crafty Cubbies. In a video. I will also link that here and down below. So in this video, we're going to combine all of this to make one workstation. There is also a YouTube playlist specifically for the Crafty Companion. I will link that up there and down below. If you want to start from the beginning, it starts with the intro. Then this is the workbook. I do a whole video on making the workbook. And then we start the videos from there. So if you want to start from the beginning, just check those links and it'll start from the beginning and work its way down in order. There is also a special Amazon list specifically for the Crafty Companion. It is, it's full of all of the different products and things that I use or the equivalent of those products. So check that out. Like if you want to know what weight or what exact type of chipboard I'm using, that is linked down there. So I'm in the Amazon list, so you can go and you can click on it and it'll give you all the information you need. And I do that for you guys for convenience and also because I get asked the same questions, you know, over and over and over again on a daily basis. So I figured this was the best way to give all of you guys the proper information quickly. So these templates are printable templates. They are available in my Etsy shop and I will link that down below. Also, on the printing of the templates, when you make your workbook, make sure that you're printing everything the same. I've got a video about a really quick tip on printing, something that I learned and it was just a random thing, but you may want to check your settings when you go to print things off, and I will link that also above and below if I still have space for linking. But that's a good video. You may want to make sure that your printer settings are correct before you print off everything, especially like making the workbook and whatnot. Okay. So I'm going to move this aside because I don't think we need anything from there right now. The first thing I want to do is I've already wrapped one of these edges. I wanted to make sure it was going to work before I turned the camera on. So I wrapped one. So we need to wrap this edge, and that's the only reason I'm wrapping is because I'm using white cardstock. If you're leaving your edges raw, or if you're using craft cardstock instead of white cardstock, you probably don't have to do this part. But I am gonna wrap this edge, and this edge. So we're gonna do that first before we do anything else. And I've already kind of prepped my pieces. These are 1-inch strips. We need 3 1-inch strips that are scored down the middle. And these measure approximately 10 1/8, but what you need to do is you need to measure it with your width of your project, because yours might be off just ever so slightly, or it might be a little larger, a little smaller by a smidge. So you just need to measure. So you need 3 of these strips. Wait a minute, why do we need 3? Let's take 1, 2. Oh, and then we'll need one more once we get the box put together. So you only really need 2 of the strips to do the part we're doing right now. So I'm going to set one of them aside just so I don't get myself confused. And then you're going to need 1 strip. Where's it at? You're going to need 1 strip that is 9.5 inches in length approximately. And basically I just measured it from this corner here, from the front panel corner, measured up, and then I measured over to this corner. And then from one end, 1.25 inches in, I want you to make little tiny little marks with your pencil. We're going to make some cuts right there so that we can bend at that edge right there. So we can make that bend. Let me show you. So we can do that. Can you see? It just makes for a little bit of a cleaner edge. Let me smoosh that down a little better, in my opinion. And see, again, that's why we left this open, so that we could wrap at that edge. Okay, so let's go. You want to do that part first? Let's do that part first. So this has double-sided adhesive. This is Sue Quain 3/8 of an inch double-sided adhesive on here. If it's gonna focus, I don't know if it will. It's linked in my Amazon list. 1-inch strip scored down the middle, and I think I'm gonna go ahead. And I'm not gonna go all the way to the score. I'm gonna stay about 1/16 of an inch away from the score mark. I'm gonna do it on both sides, and then one of the sides I need to trim back. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and trim back both sides. We're just gonna notch those corners. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by taking one side of the tape backing off. Whoops. Where's my thing? My thingamabob. Uh-oh. I've lost a tool. Aha! Found the tool. Yeah, we're gonna take, let's take this side off. Let me grab this. Okay, so the part that we cut the little slits in is going to be on the top. So what we want to do is, it's going to be hard to show you. I don't know maybe if I prop it up. I'm going to pull this back just ever so slightly, that mat that we put in here, and I'm going to slip this underneath, and I'm going to slip it all the way down to that corner there, and I'm going to match it up with that score mark. I'll show you in just a second. Oops, I might be just a hair off on my slit. So if that's the case, maybe I should have cut the slit after I got the paper on here, right? So it looks like that. So it's attached down on one side. I didn't mean for that too. So then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pull it just ever so slightly. You don't have to pull really hard, and attach that little top piece down. So you end up having like a triangle cut out there, right? So let's go ahead and make sure that's good down. I'm going to pull that. I have this tape there just to keep that corner square. I'm just going to pull that back just a little bit, and I'm going to remove the backing off of these two pieces on this side. Let's see, on that side, what did I do? You have to overlap it just a little bit. I overlapped this one. So I'm going to pull this side over, up and over, except first I'm going to burnish it a little bit onto that top part, and then I'm going to push it down right there, right? So then I'm going to do the same thing here, burnish it just a little bit, and then I'm going to push it down. So now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to run it across that edge just to kind of sharpen it and flatten it out. Okay, got it. Right? So now we got that edge wrapped. So both of the side panels are wrapped. And then while we're down here, let's go ahead and wrap this front panel, this top of this front panel. Scoop the tape out of the way. So you just want to kind of measure to make sure that it fits. Right? You don't have to go all the way to the corner because we are going to wrap these corners. So I'm just going to go ahead. Is this? Oh, this one's completely covered. I had a leftover piece and I don't remember what it was for. I just filmed it yesterday, but I don't remember. But it didn't have two strips. It just had one solid. But I don't remember what. That's gonna bug me. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay that on here on the front of the panel, kind of matching that score mark up. Right, just attaching it down right there along the front, and I'm gonna fold it over top of there. And since they're sticky all over that, it'll hold down really, really good. Then I'm going to fold it to the inside. just like that. And then I'm gonna tip it over so that I can really burnish that inside really, really good. Right? So now we've got that front panel. We've got it. It's even got some ink on it. So we've got it wrapped. And then let's do this back panel. This top part right here on this back piece. So I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off of both. Notice I didn't do any sort of notching of the corners. There's no need on these two pieces. So I think I'm going to go in here like this so I can see. Try to see anyway. Attach that down to the inside there, right? Right, and then wrap it around. Okay. Alright, so that is all of the wrapping that we need to do beforehand. And then we'll come back. I think we'll have to come back. We can't attach these just yet because we're going to be wrapping these top corners as well. So I'm not going to attach these down, so we're just going to leave them alone. I almost did just then, but I'm not going to. Okay, so the first thing, let's start attaching these together. I'm going to move that. That's the top piece. So this is that extra piece, that extra crafty cubby piece, bottom piece or top piece or whatever, base that I cut. So I'm going to start here. And before you start attaching these all together, you need to decide which configuration you're going to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a size C, a size B, a size C, a size B, a size C. So I think so it's like the skinny and the medium, skinny, medium, skinny. What I have done is I've already laid them the way I want them. And then I've kind of done like a little test. I've just kind of laid them on top of each other. And I've tried to look at them on a flat surface because sometimes they can get a little wonky. Let me see if I can stand them up on this end. They can get a little wonky. It may not be perfectly level. Because there's, you know, 5 different pieces here that you're kind of putting together. So if, for example, you start to notice it's leaning one direction or the other, meaning if it gets more smooshed on this side and it's, you know, taller on this side, then you can make necessary adjustments by adding some thin strips of like lightweight chipboard in there if need be. So you can also do that adjustment as you go. So mine doesn't look too bad. I think I'll be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with my base, this piece here, and I'm going to be using a Fabri-Tac by Beacon. And the reason I'm using this is I need the wiggle room. You could use double-sided adhesive, you could use white glue, you can use whatever you want, but I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac. Once it dries, it's good and strong, and it gives me time to wiggle. And I'm also going to get ready. I have a little tin of clips. I'm also going to get these ready because we're going to need to keep things clipped together a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get these ready. Not maybe for this part, but for when we start adding the cubbies together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cover this entire, not entire, that would be silly. I'm going to cover all the way around all 4 edges. And I'm going to be generous, but I'm going to disperse the glue around. Just like that. Cut off just a little bit. Make sure it doesn't make a mess. So then I'm going to take my bottom piece, the very bottom piece, and I'm just going to lay it on top and match it up. I'm going to have to do that flat, and then I'll lift it up and show you. So I just laid it on there, I matched it up, or I tried to anyway. And don't worry if these edges aren't completely perfectly cut straight. what, you know, they might be, instead of cutting up and down, you might have had a slant either way or the other. It's not going to matter. It's not going to get shown. So you just want to go through, you want to check all of your edges. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to squish. When you squish, you start to change the structure of the box, of the cubby. So the first layer is attached for the most part. And I'm going to try to take this bone folder here and just rub in the middle just a little bit, just so make sure there's good attachment there. No, a good seal there between the glue and the chipboard. Okay, so now I'm going to take my glue again, and I'm going to go and all the way around these edges of this Crafty Cubby. Right, I'm being generous with my glue. And then I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to lay that on top, matching them up. So the reason I built it this way is because of this right here. This area right here. Because this is a completely customizable workstation, so you can have full trays or you can have multiple smaller trays. I didn't want you to have to put dividers in, so the double thickness here is going to help keep this from bowing a lot. So you'll know what I mean once you make it. So you just kind of want to flip it around, wiggle it, make sure that everything is matched up where it's supposed to, and I think it is. So I am going to actually match it up once again, and I'm just going to put some clips to hold it. This is optional, but I figure it's better safe than sorry, right? Okay, so far so good, right? And if you feel like it's not perfect, if it's not the same width from here, this part here and this part here, you know, then you can do a little squishing, but I would try not to do very much squishing. If you can help it, I would try not to. Okay, so we got those two put together. Then we'll do the next one. Take the next one, line it up. And check it. Right. Make sure that's even. All right, I'm gonna clip. I need to check the back really quick. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alright, and then we'll do the next one. You just keep repeating this process with however many cubbies that you made. So I'm going to add these next two the exact same way, and then I'll be back. Okay, I just finished adding the last cubby to my other cubbies, right? So these do need to dry, but I mean, I'm going to go ahead and add the top thing, but the whole unit needs to dry. So we're going to go ahead and add the Crafty Dividers. I know we're getting kind of close to the camera here, but there's really not a lot I can do about it. But we're going to do it the same exact way, except we're going to have to use a little bit more. We're just going to have to hold it a little longer because we can't actually put clips on this one. So we're just going to add it the exact same way. We're literally just going to, oh, this would be the time you need to make sure that everything is the way you want it to be. If it's going to slope this way or this way, you would prefer it to slope this way instead of, you don't want things falling out. But if it does slope a little bit, just give it a little pinch. You know, you don't have to put a lot of pressure, just a little bit, but don't squish. Don't squish too much. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a generous amount on top here. And then I'm going to place this, I'm going to match the base of this Crafty Divider to the base, or the top base of this, okay? So I'm going to, that's the two pieces I'm going to match up. I'm going to have to squat down, not squat, I'm going to have to get down here and look so I can see. Okay. Okay, so you just gotta keep going round and round. That's a good thing about Fabri-Tac. You should just keep going, looking around, making sure everything stays even. I'm gonna press that just a little. Press over here just a little. You don't want to squish too much. Check the back again. I mean, I'm eye level with the seam, so let me see if I can flip it on its side here. So I'm checking the seam all the way around. So I've got mine set pretty much, I think, exactly where I want it, and it looks like there's good contact. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to work on getting some strips together to make this even more solid. Okay, that was a little bit longer of a break than I intended. I got some messages. We're planning my daughter-in-law's baby shower, and so there's all kinds of chaos going on there. Okay, so where we left off, we glued all these together. It's probably not 100% dry, but it's probably pretty close by now because it's been about, I don't know, an hour. So we're supposed to be starting, we need to prepare some strips. Okay, I was trying to find my train of thought. Okay, I'm gonna get this is my Score Palette craft mat, and I'm gonna get my Scotch utility knife, craft knife. I'm gonna get a couple, let's see, how many do I need? Let me, I just need one sheet, I think. For right now, I think I just need one sheet. That is 65 pound 12 by 12 cardstock from Recollections. And then I'm gonna get my big old honkin' roll of double-sided adhesive. This is a 6-inch roll. So I'm gonna end up covering this whole piece with this tape. You do not have to do it this way. This is such a time saver for me. I find it the fastest, quickest, easiest way, and the scrapbook.com tape is super affordable, and you can catch them on sale a lot. So I love using it. Not everybody does, but that's, you know, your personal preference. You could just use glue, but what I'm going to do is we're going to cut these into strips. Oh, I need to bring that closer to me. I quit jabbering my jaws. We're going to cut these into strips and wrap it around the box. It keeps wanting to roll on me. So we're just going to line this up. Oh shoot, I got off a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move my little candle out of the way there. I'm going to slice this off right here. I'm going to go ahead and slice that bitty bitty bit off. You don't have to be this precise if you don't want to. So I've got it on one side of the paper. Now I'm going to put it on the other. This would be, some people find this extremely intimidating to try to cover the whole 12 by 12 sheet of scrapbook paper, but it's really not that hard. I try to be perfect, but most of the time I'm not. Like, I got way off right there. But that's okay. We just make adjustments. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and trim that off where I messed up. Where I got off. Just ever so slightly. Right? It's just a little bit, but we don't need it there. So now I'm going to flip it over, and I've got just a little bit of a gap. I am going to go ahead and, I don't know why I turned my whole thing around. Not that size. I'm going to go ahead and use 1/8 of an inch and just fill it in just a little bit. And because of that, let's see, I think, well, I don't know, not sure. All right. So I will have the tape link down below, so you guys can go check it out if you would like. And then I'm going to get my big old Fiskars paper trimmer out, and I think I'm going to cut it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2-inch strips. Oh wait a minute, I might need, no. We're just going to do one full sheet. So I'm going to cut 2-inch strips. I'm going to cut the whole thing up into 2 inches. 2-inch strips. What size am I cutting these strips into, you guys? 2-inch strips. Okay, I'm going to skip the 6-inch because you can't really tell where the 6-inch mark is. So I'm going to go ahead and just chop it at 4. And then I'm going to continue on to 2, and then I can just put this in and cut it at 2. Oh, see, now I've got a teeny tiny little sliver, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. Okay, we're not going to score these at all, but what we are going to do is we're going to wrap these around this whole box, and I think we might even start at the bottom. Actually, yeah, I think we're going to start at the bottom. I think. We might not use the one with the sliver. So we're going to end up covering this seam and this seam, and we're going to wrap it around to the back. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and take the backing off of this tape. I mean this piece. Well, this tape, yeah, it's tape. And I'm going to place it right even with this edge. You don't have to. You could actually come a little bit of ways, but I'm going to place it right even with this edge. I'm going to overlap just a little bit. I would say that's 3/8 of an inch past that, past this groove right here. And let me get it to where I can see here. So I'm just going to press it down like this. Oh, let me go ahead and take these clips off. I'm going to have to maneuver the box around, so I'm going to need to move those out of the way. Okay, so I need to turn it this way. And then when I wrap it around the corner, I just need to not pull too taut, but trying to keep it even. We're still going to be doing a full corner piece, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not on this part, but we're definitely going to be doing a corner piece on this part. So I haven't decided yet, you guys. I don't know. Okay. Now I'm going to get another piece. When I made the one that I've been using my when I made my prototype so that I could use it to find out what I needed to change or things I needed to do to it, it was a long time ago, so I've forgotten all the little, and I've learned some things along the way as well. Alright, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to butt that right on up. Not going to overlap. You could, but I'm not going to. Lay that down. And then I'm going to turn it again. And I'm going to wrap it around, not pulling too tight. And then I think what I need to do is I need to trim this off. I'm going to get my craft mat out because I think I'm just going to use my knife, and you can't see. There you can. I'm just going to use my knife, and I'm going to get right up next to that and trim it off. Where is that paper? I'm going to get my sticky back here. I'm going to stick it right back on there. So I've got an extra piece just in case I need a piece of cardstock with sticky on the back. I'm going to set that aside. Okay. So then the next thing we need to do, and this is going to be hard to show you because of the 3D situation here, and my camera's right there. So we've got these two corners, right? So we need to take and snip a V out right in the corner. I'm going to try to show you on camera, and it's probably going to mess up because I can't get the right angle to see. So I just like snipped a V, not off, I just snipped a V. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Ooh, it looks like I got a little bit more overhang on this side. It's not going to matter though, it'll be alright. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is I think I'm going to angle this just a little bit. You can't see. Angle that side. And then I'm going to fold and press. Burnish that down. And then I'm going to turn it to the other side. I'm going to angle this. See, it's a lot more overhang on this side. That's okay. And I'm going to fold and press. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over this side, and I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull on those corner pieces. I'm going to pull them in like this. I'll show you. I'll try to show you. I'm going to pull them in and down so that it kind of covers that little bit of a corner just a little bit. I know it was hard to see, but I'll show you again in another section. And then you want to fold these down. Oh, I didn't get it that well. I tried. Or that piece didn't get it that well anyway. It's hard to hold something up in the air and try to cut it perfectly. Okay, so now we've got the whole bottom, well, not the whole because we still need this part, but we got this bottom part covered. You see how that corner's showing just a little bit and this one's not? So I did this one good. I didn't do that one good. Let's go on to the next. I think what we're going to do, because we're going to end up wrapping this part and this part. So yeah, we're still going to have to, I think, do the corners. Which is fine. It just makes it even that much more sturdy. Much more sturdy? More sturdier? Sturdy? I don't know. Whatever you want to say. Okay, so then I'm just going to lay this over top of those two. Yep, you can see. And I'm going to match up the edge. Don't have to if you don't want to, because we're going to be wrapping that edge as well. And then wrap it around this edge. Then again, take the backing off of another one. And then match it up. Boy, my 2 inches are different on each one, huh? That's okay. Flip it around and then bring it around. Okay, I'm going to flip it this way. Trim that bit off. Oh shoot, I should have kept the strip. So now I've got 2 strips. Let's add this other strip. I'm going to have another one. So I might as well keep it on there. Okay, and so then one more, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove my little purple tape there that I had to help me keep it square. So then we're going to add the last 2-inch strip to the top there. Oh, this one's the one that's got the little skinny bit. I'm going to do the same thing, just match it up. Oh, this one's a little bit different because of the angle there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come at a different angle and we'll see if this works. It's not the same angle as this, so I'm going to see, yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this part over, just that little bit there, like that, and then I'm going to stretch this down. Stretch is not the right word. Right? Because again, we're going to have a strip that's going down this way. So I'm not worried about that little part right there, right? So then let's do it one more time. Okay. So again, we're going to lay this on here. Oh, we might have to come from the other direction. Yeah, let's... Okay. I should have done this. I should have given this a little more thought. And I'm going to lay this on here, and I'm going to... I think I'm going to... Is that the 2-inch part? I'm going to decide how much I need to cut off of this first, and we're going to start from the other end. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. And I'm just going to guess. And I'm going to hope I guess right. But it's not crucial, remember, because we're going to be covering up the ends anyway. Okay, so let's start from this end this time. Let's see how we do. Okay, press that down. Then we're going to do that, cut at an angle, a different angle than this. I'm going to go ahead and fold that in. And then I'm going to fold this down. Whoops. Well, there's just a little, but then we're going to be covering this whole back, so that's okay. Just that little bitty bit of a gap isn't going to hurt anything. Yeah. All of these little steps are going to ensure that this is a solid workstation. I mean, it's already solid. It's already gotten sturdy just from adding these strips to go around, right? So we've already, okay, so we got that. So the next things we need to do is we need to cover these seams and we need to cover the front. And the front is the hardest in my opinion. Doing this part is the hardest, but it's not impossible because I've done it. Okay, I got me another sheet of the white cardstock, and I've already got some of the 1-inch strips and scored. I've already got some already prepared. I don't have any tape on them, but we're gonna need 2, if you've made the exact same thing I've made, you're gonna need 2 1-inch strips that are 12 inches long. Whoa, my camera said, excuse me. Come on. It didn't like all that white. It's like, nope, nope, nope. But if yours ends up being taller, you can just do smaller strips. You know, you can just connect onto, just like when we wrapped it around. So don't fret for that. So if yours is taller, don't worry. And then for the front of the box, we're going to cut it, I think we're going to cut it a little different because we need it just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to cut 2 strips, I think, 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut 2 strips that are 1.5 inches. This piece aside to get my scoreboard back out, and for these 2 pieces we're going to score 1/2 inch on whichever side of the paper you want. I'm just using, it's just easier to score on this side, so I'm scoring actually at 1 inch, and this is a Teflon pencil stylus type situation. I have it linked in my Amazon. It's a really cool, I really like it. Okay. So for these, I think I'm just going to hold it up here, maybe just in measure. And I'm going to wrap it around the bottom. So I'm just going to measure mine and add, I'm going to measure from bottom to the top of here, and then I'm going to add what am I going to add? I'm going to add 1 3/4 to that measurement. So let me get my trimmer back out. So I'm going to cut both of these at 8.5. I think that's right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and prep. I'm going to prep all 4 strips here. Alright, so I think for both sets of these, I'm pretty sure we're going to want to put the tape on the bumpy side. So we scored on this side, so we pressed the paper in, and then when we prepped it, right, so this is where we scored. So then we flipped it this way and prepped it this way. So we want the tape to be on this side, the other side, the bumpy side. But if you happen to do it the wrong way, that's okay. It's no big deal. I'm going to be using 3/8 of an inch. score tape. This is score tape. I will have it linked in my Amazon list. Actually, 3/8 of an inch isn't that easy to come by, I found. It's a little frustrating. So when I find it, I usually buy 5 rolls at a time because I do like it. So I'm going to put tape on both of these. These are Tim Holtz tonic scissors. And then for this one, same thing. I want it on the bumpy side. So for the 1/2 inch flap that we created, I'm going to put the 3/8 of an inch on there. And then I don't think my 1 inch will fit. Oh yeah, it does. So then I'm going to take my 1 inch score tape because I really want, I could have just covered the whole entire thing, which that you could do that too. But I want to make sure that I get it on this edge, the other edge, the opposite edge of the 1/2 an inch tab. I want to make sure because I want to make sure that stays down because this is what's going to be wrapped inside of the cubbies. This is just a stamp block. I find that when you have these bigger tapes, it's much easier to use something like this instead of, my scissors will not cut it straight. My scissors, hear me blaming my scissors. I can't get it to cut straight. When it gets past 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 an inch is maybe, I might be able to get it straight, but most of the time I can't cut it straight. So I use a block. Trick I learned from many creators on YouTube. I'm going to straighten it up just a little bit. I was using a perfect trim ruler, but I don't, it's too thin. I like the thicker stamping block. Okay, so let's start with these 2 longer pieces. First thing is we're going to tab one of the ends. I don't know if we need to tab the other. Let me think. So I'm going to go ahead and tab at least one end on each one of these. And I guess we'll have to play it by ear on the other one. So I'm going to bring this over. So we're going to be doing, it's going to be hard to see, we're going to be doing this seam here, right? And we're going to start at the bottom. So it's going to go like this. So we're gonna start by attaching it down to this side first. So the back side. I wish I could, there we go. So I am gonna take the tape off of one side, this side here, because there is a much easier way to do this. And I had forgotten because it's been a while. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay it, we're gonna match that point up to that bottom there, right? And we're gonna do our best. I got off on that other one, so I'll probably get off on this one too. And we're just going to attach it all the way down like this. All the way down, all the way up, all the way across, all the way up. There we go. Right? So it's attached all the way down, right, on the one side. So now I'm going to take the tape backing off of here. See, isn't this easier? I mean, I'm telling you. And since now I know where that groove is, I think I can either cut it straight across or I can angle it. I think I'm going to, let's try angling it and see what it looks like. Yeah, that might be a cleaner look. So I just angled it one way. I didn't even cut like a notch. I just angled it. So I'm not sure you're gonna be, there you go. So you can see that right there, right? So much easier, right? I had completely forgotten how I did the other one. But that happens, it happens. It's been a while. So the same thing here, I'm gonna notch on either side of that score mark, and you can't see me. There you go. Did I move the camera now? This thing is so big, and there's only so much room under my camera here. So I think I'm gonna go first with the back piece, bring it over, and I'm gonna bring that corner piece in. And I ripped it off, but that's what I want, it's okay. Oh, this one does need to, I think it does need to be angled just a little bit more to fit better inside of there. So I just took a little bit more off, and then, whoops, I almost covered up the mat. And then wrap it around. All right, yes, got it. We got it. All right, before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and attach these two side mats down. I'm just gonna go through here and I'm gonna add some glue. Oh, no, don't do that yet, you guys. I forgot about this corner. Shoot, I'm gonna remove the glue from that end. I'm gonna stick this in here so it doesn't glue down. So I guess I'll glue the top down. My thought process lately is just all over the place. Okay, so we're gonna hang off on that. Don't do that. Don't glue that down yet. So now we're gonna do this bottom, or this bottom, the side panel with the 1.5 inch strips. And I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and take the tape off of both this 1/2 inch part and the 1 inch part. I think I remember how exactly I did this. If not, we'll do the other side the right way, because that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. So we're gonna have quite a bit on either side. So about 3/4 of an inch will be sticking out on either side, and that's kind of what we want. We want that extra bit. So I'm gonna try to get this on the corner. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and burnish this corner, and then we want to flip it to the front, and we want to burnish this corner. Because I didn't get it on there perfect on that score, it's a little wrinkly right there. So for the bottom here, again, you just want to notch it out. You know, notch out, you can't see, that score mark. And actually I'm gonna do that first. I'm just gonna pull that little triangle. See, I just pulled it off, but I pulled it towards the corner. And I'm gonna fold in that side piece, and then I'm gonna fold down that front piece. And I will show you what it looks like on the bottom here in just a sec. See, looks like that. Now there will be a mat. It doesn't matter because we're gonna be attaching this, but I am gonna put a mat just because I like it to be nice and clean no matter what we end up doing. Okay, so then I'm gonna do the same thing for this front part here. I'm gonna notch, right, let me see. I know this one I have to notch this angle. And then this one, see, I'm almost feeling like we could have waited to front to cover that front edge, but that's okay. So this one, I think, I'm just going to do the same type of notch where I'm just making like a V. I'm going to pull that in, pull it off. I'm going to wrap the side, oh, let me move that mat. I'll wrap that side piece out of the way. And then I'm going to wrap this over. Now keep all this in mind. If you're not wrapping your edges, you don't have to be nearly as precise. So keep that in mind when you're watching what I'm doing. And since I didn't get that on there perfect, it's wrinkly on this side. But to me, it's totally fine. I do not care. Okay, so like I said, you needed to make sure you burnish this good onto all of those bits. All of these dividers, okay? Because now we're going to come in here with our scissors and we're going to cut at an angle towards the corner, like that, towards the corner. And so what we're going to do is we're going to fold that piece in and around, and then fold that up and over. I don't know if up and over is the right word, but we're going to fold it around this edge here. Oh, where's Anita? I need something skinnier. Right, so it makes a nice neat edge, and we're going to cover the front of these as well, so don't worry about if anything is showing. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to cut these at an angle. Whoops, I didn't cut that one very good. I almost feel like this doesn't need to be a whole inch hangover. I kind of feel like we could do with just 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, because this one isn't cut enough. I can't get my scissors in there. So I'm just going to go through and push all these in like that. And then I'm going to go through and pinch all these down around that outer edge there. And this one as well. We're going to end up covering this as well too. Right? So just want to take your time, go through, burnish everything down. Matter of fact, I'm going to flip it this way so I can get in there and hopefully burnish these down solid. You don't want them peeling up or peeling back or coming loose. I've actually had that happen with some craft cardstock where the edges and stuff start peeling up. So if that happens where you are, sometimes it depends on your climate. Just use glue, do both. Use the double-sided tape and glue. Okay. So there's that side. Now let's do this side. Maybe let's do the 1/2 inch first and get it on there correctly. And then we'll take the 1 inch part off. So we're trying not to wrinkle here. We're trying not to wrinkle the cardstock again. Okay. So we've attached it to the one side. Let's take off the backing here. And then we're going to fold it over. And I think I did it again. That might not be too bad. I think it's because of the way I am holding my bone folder. But it's okay. Burnish it on. Oh, it looks like that one came a little cattywamped. That's okay. Okay. Alright, and again, we're going to notch out where that score is. You may not need 3/4 of an inch overhang on each side. Or this might even be an inch, because I didn't put it on there very good. Alright, we're going to take one side, wrap it around. Take this part, fold it down to the bottom. Burnish that down. So it looks like that. You see? Okay. And then up here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to notch it. I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's try to pull that corner in. And then wrap that edge around. Oh, I don't need to move that out of the way. And this edge around. Okay, so then now we just need to do these pieces. So again, oh, this is so awkward. Notch. I'm gonna have to hold it. I don't know how I'm gonna do this here. Notch, notch, notch. So I feel like having that 1 inch overhang is too much. Maybe 3/4 will be better. So I'm gonna press that in, press that in, press that in, press that in, press that in. Right? Flip it on its side. I'm gonna try to burnish those really quick. Okay, then I'm gonna take this part, burnish it down, squeeze that down over top of there, squeeze that down over top of there, and bring that around. All right. So I'm going to take some time here and I'm going to burnish these. Yeah, because see, some of it's wanting to come up already. But we're going to be wrapping each one of these. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips. And we're going to cut them at approximately 10 1/8 length. And I think we're going to do 3/4 inch strips. Let me write that down. Okay, so to cover this piece, this, and this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have covered a 12 by 12 sheet of white cardstock again, just like I did before with the 6-inch roll of tape, and then I've cut them into 2-inch strips by 10 1/8, so they'll fit inside of the cubby. Okay, so all we're going to do is we are going to take the backing off. We are going to slide this in about halfway down. Press it down, right? We're going to fold it over that edge. I didn't score anything. I just cut it down to size, and they're 2-inch strips, and it's even crooked, it looks like. But that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and burnish that down. Right? So now that edge is completely covered. And then I'm going to take a minute and burnish that down. Right? So I'm going to do that to all of these, and then for the top one, we are going to take the backing off. And I'm going to flip it around this way, and I'm going to start with it inside, go about halfway down, right? And then we're going to fold it over. Burnish, burnish. That edge isn't as crisp, but that's okay. Right? So now we've got that one covered. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to cover the rest of these. And I might even put it on fast forward. right? So there we go. So you saw, is this the one? When I went to do the small section up here, I flipped it around and started from the other direction, just so, because down here it got in the way. But right, so now all those raw edges are covered, and if I'm not mistaken, all of the raw edges are covered. Yeah, the rest of the raw edges that you see, well, for the exception of these on the bottom here, this will be covered, but the ones in the divider parts, I didn't cover, but that doesn't mean you can't cover them. Now I can glue these bits down. And not have to worry. Well. Also didn't really take the time to erase my pencil marks. I'm just now noticing. You probably can't see them very well, and I'm just going to go through and lightly erase them. Probably see the eraser marks more than you see the pencil. Okay. So I've already, let's go ahead and mat the inside of that, and let's see, the mat for that, we're doing the Crafty Dividers. So the mat for those are on page 4M in the, oh, let's see what happened. 4M in the Crafty Divider section, and I've already printed it off. I printed it off on coffee stained. This is, I'm using cardstock, but you don't have to. So I'm gonna get these two pieces. So this piece is gonna mat this front part, and then this piece mats this back part here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out, and then I'm gonna ink it up with my Distress ink and Vintage Photo, and then I will be back. Okay, I got them cut out. I didn't do a whole lot of inking because it already comes pre-distressed, so I just did the white edges, and then I also cut out. I traced out the bottom panel, the base of the Crafty Cubbies. I traced that out onto white cardstock, and I put some 3/8 of an inch tape. Let's attach that first. 3/8 of an inch tape on the back. I'm gonna cover the whole bottom with this. So I'm gonna take the backing off, and I'm gonna do, the reason I put tape on here is because I want to double do it. I want to put some wet glue over top of this as well, and I want to make sure that it stays. So the bottom is going to be attached to the Crafty bottom that we have not made yet, so I want to make sure that this piece of paper doesn't make everything come undone, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of times I would use just the white glue, the art glitter glue, but since there's several different layers folded over on the corners of the cardstock, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac for that. Okay, so I'm going to try to line this up. There really is no good way to do it, so hang on just a second. Just gonna, and it doesn't even have to be perfect. So I just lined that bottom, easy peasy. Got the bottom matted. Now I'm just gonna, first I'm gonna test this one to see how it fits in here. Sometimes it's too big, sometimes it fits just perfect, so it looks like it fits just perfect. So awesome. All right, so I'm gonna this time I'm gonna take the art glitter glue, and I'm gonna attach this down with that, go around the edges. Okay, I'm just going to try to lay this in here. Yeah, it's pretty good. So you could have finished off the whole bottom, but it's really not necessary. And the only reason you can see it now is because it's underneath the camera, but you're not going to be able to see it when it's stuffed full of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to mat the entire bottom. I just like to mat that part. I don't know. I might even end up matting this part. Matter of fact, I think I will. Just because you'll be able to see that. I think you'll be able to see it. So you don't have to mat that inside, but I think I'm going to. All right. And then same thing with this big piece. Oh, let me make sure it fits. It should fit right in there, just perfect. And it does. All right. So I think I'm just going to run some all the way around the edges and down the in the middle. And attach it down. I've got a fan blowing on me because it's like the humidity here is like ridiculous, and it's a super hot day and it's high humidity, so I have to have a fan on. So anyway, it's drying my stuff out quicker than it probably would normally, so I gotta make sure I keep my lids on my glue. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay that in there. Take my bone folder and smoosh it down. Okay, now what am I going to mat? I might wait to mat this inside part right here to see if we have any leftover pieces of other stuff, because I don't want to print off. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see, but I'm not going to mat it right now. But what I am going to do, the next thing, the last thing we're going to do in this video is we're going to ink everything up. And once again, I'm going to use my little wet palette here that I made. Smoosh some ink on there. And I'm going to have to use this method in certain areas. And then I can go straight in with the blending tool in other areas. So like this little corner here, I can just go in and it's just kind of like a disguise. So you cannot see that there's a weird joint there, you know, but the rest of that I can ink. So the top edges I can ink with my blending tool. Get the insides of this. Oops, I didn't mean to get that. I don't know why that part's not inking. Right, and then you'll also probably want to go in and get the insides of this. So I would just go down like this, all the way down to make sure you're getting that, and then flip it over and do the other sides. And what I mean by that is flip it this way and get this part. You're just trying to like trick the eye to think it's just one solid piece. And if this is too much for you guys, if this is too picky, then don't do it. You don't have to do it. If this is too much detail for you, you do not have to do it. It's all up to you. I'm just showing you how I like to do it and how I'm tackling certain issues, I guess, with a project like this. Alright, so I'm going to continue on with that in those types of spots, and then with my tool I'm just going to come through and do this, right, and just get all of the edges inked up really nice. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. Okay, I know it's going to be hard to see the whole thing in camera, but I've got the whole thing inked up. It didn't really take that long, but, you know, and once you get these matted, it won't look as bizarre looking as it does right at this moment. But I got it inked up all the way around. See that? Even on the back side. Inked it all the way up. But I wanted to show you really quick how the drawers fit in here. So, not drawers. I wanted to show you how the crafty trays fit in here. So here is the C-size tray. So see how much different it looks once you have the tray in there. So this is the C size full tray. So we're gonna have 3 of those size trays, right? So it just, here, let me grab a medium. Here, let me dump this out so I can show you. So this is the B sized full crafty tray, right? So we're gonna have 2 of these. So do you see how different it's gonna look once all the trays are in there? It's just gonna be super cool. And do you see how there's so much room in there? Let me see if I can't find, oh, I think these have things in them. Well, here's a C size for the different sizes of trays. That is one of the larger sizes. Oh, I've got stuff in that one. And this one is the medium size, and then this is what I call my filler tray. So you could do that as well. So I just kind of wanted to show you kind of where we're headed. This particular workstation for me, I am going to be leaving it all full-size trays, just so you know. For the workstation, for this particular workstation, so I guess I could have showed you that. I had a piece of craft cardstock coming up right here. I just pressed it back down. I should have, in my climate, I should have glued. The craft cardstock is a little bit different than the white cardstock. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's got a bigger memory, I think. Okay, so these are the full-size trays. Here is the size B large tray, crafty tray, right? I would show you the medium one, but it's full of rusty bits right now. But this would be, if you were doing one of each size, that's what that would look like. But you could do 2 of these in the cubby. You could do 1 of the full size, obviously. You could do 3 of this medium size in the cubby. And I haven't really tried it, but my son seems to think you could do like 4 or 5 of these. But this is just kind of like a filler tray, but there's things that'll fit in here, like the little ink cubes and things. So just FYI. But that's we're gonna do different sizes of the crafty trays in the other workstation that we're gonna make. Well, I'll just show you. It looks like this. We're gonna do one like this. And these top parts are removable, so you can move them around if you want to. So that is a crafty workstation with crafty mini racks, removable crafty mini racks, and it's gonna have a top. Anyway, we'll talk about that when it's time. Now that I've got all these pieces, so I'm gonna go ahead and take these out. This is where I'm holding all my extra bits of paper. And then I'm gonna take this crafty tray out. So in the next video, we're gonna work on matting all 3 sizes of the crafty workstation. And we might even mat this little piece right here. But I'm gonna show you a couple different ways to mat the sides of this. Yeah, and then after that, we will start working on the crafty trays. Okay? So if you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you're digging the project, making your crafty companion, crafty workstation with me, let me know. Leave me a comment. Share my video. It helps me out a lot. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And ring that bell, that notification bell. And turn your notifications on as well. That's helpful. And there should be some other videos here on the screen that you might enjoy watching. Oh, and don't forget to check the description box for all relevant info. There's a lot of info down there. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.